Hello, Texas. This is Danny Lucio, your field director here at Battleground Texas. We have a few folks on the phone, a few folks on the Google Hangout viewing us tonight. We've got a digital training webinar hosted by Grant Fuller. And thank you, Grant, for being here tonight.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to hand it over to Grant. We also have Priscilla Martinez in the background here. You can't see her. She's our incoming training director, and we'll be helping out with these trainings in the future. So first thing first, just want to test really quick because we're running this call on Maestro. If you can hear me, press 1. Great. Looks like everyone can hear us. If you've got questions, we've got a Q&A period towards the end of the call. But in the meantime, if you have questions during particular parts of the training, you can press 1, or you can put it in the questions section on the Google Hangout, and we'll get to them. So take it away, Grant.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny. Hey, everybody. Like Danny said, my name is Grant Fuller. I am in the digital department here at Battleground Texas. So that means I write emails, I post blogs, I run social media accounts, update the website, anything that happens online under our brand, that's me. So thank you guys so much for joining this webinar. It's my first digital webinar, hopefully the first of many to come. We hope to do these once a month in the future, so stay tuned for that. And happy tax day. I hope everyone got their taxes done in time before the deadline. If not, I'll keep this short so you can run home and finish. And also, thanks to those of you in San Antonio and beyond who are missing part of the final Spurs game of the season for this. I'm a huge Spurs fan, so I appreciate that. Go Spurs, go. Apologies to Dallas and Houston, but you know. So this training is basically kind of an intro to digital, or what volunteers can do to help tell the story of Battleground Texas online. Because you guys are a tremendous asset for us to be able to do that, to tell our own story. And we want to make sure that you can do that you know, as simply as possible and as efficiently as possible without causing you too many headaches. So this training is intended for, like I said, for Battleground Texas volunteers to tell our story online. But I know we may also have some volunteers from the Texas Democratic Party with us on the phone. That's awesome. Welcome, guys. And all of what I'm going to say, like I said, is intended for Battleground Texas volunteers, but it also applies to you, to the party volunteers. Nothing that I'm going to say is exclusive to Battleground Texas. Any of it can be applied to whatever progressive organization you're working for, really, or you're volunteering for. So let's get started. Hold off on the PowerPoint for now. I got this first section. So I guess let me start off by talking a little bit about why you might want to do things for the digital department. And then right after saying that, I'll sort of refute that statement and say that you're not actually doing this stuff for us, for our department, or for Battleground Texas. In the long run, you're doing it for yourselves. Like I said, you guys are our greatest asset. We value our volunteers so much, and we know that your time is valuable. And we want to make sure that we're, getting the most bang for your time. And by that, I mean, we want to make sure that everything that you guys are doing online has a direct or indirect benefit for you in the long run, down the line. So I'll get back to that idea in a second, but first of all, there are 3 ways that you guys can sort of help us out. One is to post your own content on social media, or on your blogs, or wherever you may do it. These days it's mostly on Facebook and Twitter for the majority of people. Post your own content under your own personal accounts. That's the first thing. The second thing is you can share our content, the Battleground Texas Facebook page and the @BGTX Twitter account. Also Instagram, BGTX Pics. You can take our content, share it, retweet it. Anything to sort of amplify our message is always super helpful. And the third thing, which is actually the most important and the one I want to talk about most today, is sending us your awesome content from the field for us to use from the Battleground Texas accounts. Now, why? I know a common question that volunteers have is why would I do that instead of, why would I send you my great photos and my great quotes and interviews and whatnot when I can just post them on my own account and it's easier and faster that way? Well, here's why. So you post a photo, and the most prolific among you, among our Twitter users, may have 1,300 followers, which is great, which is amazing. So you send out a tweet with a photo of your phone bank or whatever it may be, your voter registration drive. You tweet it out. It goes to up to 1,300 people. So if you have 1,300 followers, not every single one of them is going to see it. Some percentage of them will see it, but up to 1,300. So what happens when we post it is we have more than 13,000 followers. So when we post the same photo, 13,000 people have a chance to see it versus 1,300. No offense to you guys, but we've built up this following for a reason, and that's to help us get across everything that we're doing and show people the great work that you guys in the field are doing as volunteers. And so we want as many people as possible to see it. And you don't really lose anything from it. You can still retweet it after we post it and say that claim it as your own. Also, when you guys send us content, we're always sure to we try to be sure to tag you in it, and to sort of credit you for sending the content and to thank you for sending it in. So if you want a free mention from Battleground Texas, send us an awesome photo from your event, and we'll get it up and tag you in it. So how does that help you? So let's say you tag BGTX Corpus. It does great work on Twitter, for example. Let's say you send us a photo, we take it and tweet it, and we tag BGTXCC in it, which is the Corpus Christi Twitter account. A random person in Corpus sees it who has never heard of us, or has never heard of the local chapter, the Corpus chapter. They see it, they check you out, they realize there's Battleground Texas people in Corpus. They follow you from there, and then you are, since the Corpus account is very active and solid, they'd post that we're going to have a phone bank on Thursday night, and they post a link for it for people to invite people to sign up. And then that person, because they're now following you, sees that tweet, signs up for the phone bank, and boom, there you go. You have a new volunteer. Obviously, it's not going to happen every single time, but the more often that we do this, the more likely it becomes, of course. Also, posting original content like this that we produce ourselves, rather than us just retweeting you or sharing your Facebook posts. It really helps to keep us engaged with our followers. It shows that we're it shows a lot of activity in our organization, shows all the amazing work that's happening in the field, and conveys a sense of excitement on a bigger scale than you would be able to do on your own. And also it helps me because I'm a small team, and it's hard to get content we rely on you guys a lot for our content from across the state. Obviously, it's a big state. We don't have a huge travel budget, and so we need people in the field who are in these locations to be sending us photos that we can post from Battleground Texas accounts, and we really, really appreciate it when you do. Also, what you can do is share. If you the other thing I said was that you can share our content, stuff that we post. You can retweet it and share it on Facebook. That helps to reach people who might not have heard of us. Like I said before, your friends in your networks. You know, every time you amplify something that we're saying, and it you know, the reach of that post extends exponentially, and there's a better chance for people who don't know us to find out about us. Sorry.
Ooh, we got a question on Google Hangout. How do we send our original content to you?
Great. Great question from KJ Lowry. Thank you for asking. I'm going to get to that in a second, but it's really easy. I'm happy to get emails from you guys whenever. I'm going to give you my email address in a second, but I'll give it to you now as well. It's just gfuller, Gfuller, at battlegroundtexas.com. Feel free to send your content directly to me, or if it's photos, for example, it's really easy to send them to our Flickr account. You just email photos at battlegroundtexas.com. So easy to remember, photos at battlegroundtexas.com. And when you do that, this is on a slide that we're getting to in a second, but might as well say it now. When you do that, you attach the photos. You can do, I think, as many as you like, but you know, try to keep it to 5 to 10 at the most. And the subject line that you choose is going to be the name, the title of the photo on Flickr. So choose a subject line that you want to be that's descriptive. I think we should come up with a standard for this, and I should have done that before this, but I think it'd be great if the subject line can include your location and your name. So maybe, or your initials at least. So your initials, your location, let's say it's, I don't know where you are, KJ, but it's, let's say Corpus, KJ, and then a short description, the title of whatever the photo is. And then in the body of the email, that's going to show up on Flickr as the description of the photo. So if you want to include a bit more detail about where you were or what exactly is happening in the photo, that's where you can do that. So all you need to do is attach the photos, include a title and a subject line and a description, and send it over to us, and it'll automatically be uploaded to our public Flickr account. And from there, we can take them and organize them and put them in albums. So doing a combination of all those three things is always best. You know, posting your own material on your own accounts, sharing our content that we post, and sending us original content to my email or to photos at. Okay, let's go to the slideshow. So I think I'm about to disappear, and you're going to see slideshow, PowerPoint. Awesome. So here I'm going to give you a list. This is not meant to be an exhaustive list at all, but it's just 10 ideas, 10 things that you guys can do in the field as volunteers to help tell the story of Battleground Texas online. And these are just very tangible, very detailed things that you can, that all of you can do. And if you don't have an account to do these things or whatever, I'm happy to help explain how to create accounts if you need to, or answer questions if you don't know what any of these platforms are. But I'm basically going to go from super easy and things that you don't need any kind of special social media accounts or any kind of prior knowledge to do, and then I'll get into some more advanced things at the end. So the first one, ideas. We can always use more ideas. Your help in brainstorming things that we should be doing or could be doing is always welcome and helpful. You're always free to send me ideas directly to my email, which I'll give you again at the end. And we need, basically, I don't want our entire digital content to come out of my head. It's not going to be as good as it can be that way. Obviously, we need to put our heads together for our content to be the highest quality possible. So the easiest thing, the most basic thing you can do is send us your thoughts and your ideas. And you guys feel free to ask questions as we go through this. I'm probably not going to stop for questions unless people have them. after each thing that you can do, after each step. But feel free to press 1 if you have questions, or ask a question on the Google Hangout. Second thing, so we have this program. From time to time, we post audio features, like NPR style audio productions, and we call that our Battleground Voices program. And basically what I'm saying here, what you can do is, if you don't know, later I'll get into recording your own Battleground Voices stories, but here I just want to talk for a second about you are always welcome to volunteer to have your personal story recorded, or to just step up and say, hey, I'm willing to tell my story on tape. I'm willing to be interviewed. You don't need to do anything. We can, obviously, if you're in Austin, we can come to you. If you're elsewhere, I'm sure we can find somebody who has the ability to record audio and get them to record you. All you have to do is be a talker. We love talkers, and you have to be, willing to talk about your experience at Battleground Texas volunteering. And it's a great way. It's cheaper than a video, and it's better, more engaging than a blog, than reading a blog. So hearing someone's voice talk about their experience and why Battleground Texas is important to them can be a really effective way to get our message across. And here is an example of what we can do when you guys step up and are willing to talk to us and to do interviews with us. This is just right after the election. I interviewed some people at our volunteer debriefs up in Dallas-Fort Worth, and put together this little audio piece, and I'll just play it for you now so you can understand what I'm getting at here.
I'm at the Battleground Texas meeting to continue organizing the state, because I believe that increased turnout will be producing a more representative government.
We didn't get what we wanted. We deserve to have a better government for the state of Texas. I'm not going to stop until it happens. So that's why I'm in it to win it.
The reason I won't give up is because I've read and know of so many candidates and so many volunteers who didn't give up, who persevered, and they came out the winners in the end. And I want to be one of those in a few years.
We got our butt kicked with the backslide over, bruises, but we'll heal.
I'm not giving up because I know the numbers are there, and all those non-voters, we just have to connect with them.
The reason why I'm staying involved with Battleground Texas is because of the promise we made to all the high school students when we were out registering voters. They were eager and willing to register, but they were not of age yet. So I feel it's a great importance for us to stay involved in the community and make sure that those kids are registered and ready to vote come 2016.
I'm staying involved because I've met so many people that are excited to change the shape of Texas, and I want to meet a lot more that do.
One of the reasons why I'm involved in is trying to get more Hispanics to vote, because obviously I think there's a history that we don't vote. So I had an opportunity to participate in registering people in several churches that were predominantly Spanish speaking. So I want to continue that and make some change, hopefully. I'm not going to give up, but just continue.
I think it's sad that only 40% vote. So I'm going to keep working until it's 40% that don't vote and 60% do.
We can push together, continue with the work we're trying to do to get voters into the process and not sitting on the sideline, to be a part of the community.
I'm staying involved because my involvement in the election let me know that there are a lot of other people who think like I do, and we want to make sure that our voices finally get heard. And so I'm in. So game on. It's all right to feel heard.
I'm at the
sorry. Cool. So there you go. There's a little sample of what we can do when you guys are awesome enough to share your stories with us, and take a few minutes, a couple minutes to explain why you're in this and why you're still in the fight and not giving up. And it's not just that we can do. We can do a feature. If you think you've got a great story to tell that will inspire other people to get involved, feel free to reach out to us. And or if you know someone else who has a great story, that needs to be told, please reach out to us, and we will find those people or get with you and find a way to record them and feature them as part of Battleground Voices. Yep, next. Number 3. Do you guys remember Cliff Notes? I don't know. I might be dating myself here. I don't know if they even exist anymore, Cliff Notes. But it's basically the short version of a book. When you are too lazy to read the entire book for a book report, you read the Cliff Notes. I don't know if kids today know what that is. But anyway, that's what we're asking for basically when we want you to write your story, your personal story. If you're a writer and you love writing and have no problem writing your full personal story out as a blog post or an email form or whatever, totally feel free to do that. I'm happy to take that. We'll probably make minor changes depending on what it is, but the more the better. But that said, all we need is something really short to be able to take your story and turn it into some great original digital content for our channels, particularly for our blog, and to take your stories, and if you're willing, to turn you into an email sender, because the emails that we send all the time, they're usually from staff members, but we don't want them to be from us every single time. It's always great to mix it up, and always awesome to have volunteer voices as the senders on those, because you guys are the face of Battleground Texas, and we want to be featuring you as much as possible. So write your personal story. That's kind of misleading because like I said, I don't really mean write your whole story. I just mean send us a few bullet points really about your story, why you got involved, how you originally got involved with Battleground Texas, whatever is important to you and whatever you think will help inspire other people to get involved. We'd love to hear it. And it doesn't have to be your personal story. It could be anything. It could be a report back from an awesome event that you held, from a great voter registration drive, or something incredible that happened when you registered someone to vote for the first time. We had one of those a while back of a guy at a festival, some kind of festival or fair. He was operating a ride, and one of our volunteer deputy registrars walked up to him and asked him if he would like to register to vote, and he thanked her profusely for asking him, because he said no one had ever asked him if he wanted to get involved before, or if he would like to register before, and he was super happy to do it. He had just never been asked before. So that kind of thing makes for a great story. Any kind of personal encounters you have like that, we would absolutely love to hear them and turn them into blog posts and emails and everything else. For those, always when you send a story, please send a photo with it. And again, you can just send these directly to me if you'd like, or to Danny Lucio, if you guys know him. He can give you his email at the end as well. You're welcome, Danny.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
And yeah, always send a photo with your stories.
Cool.
Next.
Yep.
Like I said before, the big one, this is probably the most important one, is take photos all the time, everywhere, at every event, and everything you do for Battleground. And please send them to photos@battlegroundtexas.com. I'll get a notification email that something has been posted, and it will post directly to our public Flickr account, which you see there on the screen if you're watching. And like I said before, in case you didn't hear, I'll repeat it. The subject line of that email is going to be the title of the photo. So on Flickr, when we're scrolling over the photos and the title pops up, that's whatever you put in the subject line is what's going to show up there. And then in the body of your email, that's going to show up in the description on Flickr. So when you click through on the photo on Flickr, when you click the photo, you'll see what you see as the description is whatever you sent in the body of the email. So send the photo, attach the photo or photos to the email, send it to, give it a subject line that's going to be the title, give it a description in the body of the email, and send it to photos@battlegroundtexas.com. The other thing you can do that's really simple is to share links to our website, to battlegroundtexas.com. You can go there and find links to anything from our new initiative, the Texas Future Leadership Program. There's a blog post about that you can share, which John David Carrasco, who I think is on the line, his homework assignment for the last weekend was to share something from our website, and that's what he chose. Thank you so much, John. He did a great job. He included a quote from the blog post from Senator Rodriguez. He included a BGTX hashtag in it. You could also mention us using at Battleground Texas, which will make sure that we see it and that people have a chance to click through and go to our page and like us if they don't already. Everyone in his network will be able to do that. Facebook does the rest of the work for you. Once you put in the link, it pulls up that photo and all that information, the title and the description automatically, so you don't have to worry about any of that. And you can also share, scroll through our blog and share other blog posts that you like. The Fellows application is on there. Also just the simple links at the top of the nav bar, get involved. It never hurts to send that out every now and then. Also the donate page, obviously, is a big one. Always be asking people to donate, especially at the end of each quarter when we're doing fundraising pushes.
Cool.
Next.
Oh, did we do one?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
No, this one? No.
No, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Oh, going back up.
Sorry. Okay. Share our content. So the content that we post, the original content, please always, easy thing you can do is share it on Facebook and Twitter. That increases our impact exponentially every time you do that, because it goes to all of your friends who may or may not follow us. The example included here is our political director, Cliff Walker, just the other day shared this graphic. The Republican Party asked for witty ideas for their koozies, for their new koozie design, and we asked people to help them out by giving suggestions of things that the GOP might want to say about themselves on a koozie. And so we just posted it on Facebook, and he shared it, and a couple people commented on it, and it's a good way to just get our stuff out there a little bit more, and it's super easy. It takes a couple clicks.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing you can do is also really easy. Tweet, if you're on Twitter, post a tweet with a mention of @BGTX or #TeamBGTX. This is a great example from our awesome Galveston volunteers. Posted a great picture of this neighborhood team meeting, planning voter registration events, hashtagged it TeamBGTX, which means that we saw it and we're able to retweet it and get even more out of it. Another thing you can do is PicStitch. PicStitch is an app that you can get on your smartphone if you have one. Just go to the App Store and search PicStitch. You'll find it. It's pretty easy to use. It basically just gives you all kinds of templates and different layouts for photos, and you can post multiple photos into a collage, as you can see here, that Christian Thompson did. This was her homework assignment over the weekend. She also did an awesome job. Thank you, Christian, if you're on. She included #GameOn. She tagged us so that make sure we could see it. She included a specific Corpus Christi hashtag, which is awesome, so that more people in her local area will see it. And the Earth Day Bay Day hashtag, which means that people from that event probably were able to see it as well and find out about us. So that's another thing you can do. It's great for events and sharing photos from events. Another thing you can do, which this one, now we're getting into the more complicated stuff here that you might need a little bit of experience to be able to do, but I'm happy to help you out if you need it. Record yourself. So along the same lines as the Battleground Voices, as part of the Battleground Voices program, what you can do is record yourself doing anything: phone banking, registering voters, and telling your personal story, or you can use your phone to interview other people about their story, or the possibilities are endless. There is a great app if you're on an iPhone. It's probably on Android as well, called Tascam PCM Recorder, TASCAM, and then PCM Recorder. It's a great recording app, or you can just use voice memos function on the iPhone. It's super easy. You can save the file and send it from there. That's the beauty of smartphones these days. If you have access to one, recording audio is easier than it's ever been before. I'm going to play just a minute of this for time, since we're low on time. But this is an audio piece that we did a long time ago with Ezra. It was an awesome teenage volunteer here in Austin, and he is a phone banking all-star.
My name is Ezra. I'm a volunteer with Battleground Texas. I'm 14. A lot of what I do when I'm here is I make a lot of phone calls. Would you be interested in training to become a deputy registrar? Are you interested in volunteering or phone banking or some specific activities? And then if we have a date that we're doing that, those are the types of things that I ask. When you get more people involved in the process, that generally does benefit Democrats. So it's all about getting more people involved, and that's the whole point, is that we're just trying to bring more people in. I'd say that you should definitely try it. The other thing is, it feels good to be doing something.
All right, so there's a little taste of Ezra doing his thing, talking about phone banking. It looks like KJ had another question about sharing this on a county party website. Yes, totally. After this is over, Danny will share the link with everyone to this Google Hangout video, and you guys are free to post it wherever you like. Great. Next. This is the last one.
Oh, don't fail me on PowerPoint. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. So the last one is just a little bit out there, but I wanted to mention that there are all these new social media platforms these days that keep coming out, and I'd always encourage you to experiment with them and to think about how you can use them to help tell the Battleground Texas story of Battleground Texas volunteers. Periscope, if you haven't heard of it, is a brand new one. It's a live streaming, app. It's a live streaming app that's connected to your Twitter account, so that you can share a link on Twitter and people can watch live whatever you're doing. So I can imagine it being used, at house parties, or to take a virtual tour of a phone bank, or to show what it's like to register voters, or things like that. We're sort of thinking about exploring how to use it ourselves, and I just wanted to mention that it's something to think about. There's also Hyperlapse on Instagram, which lets you record and speed up video and stabilize it, so it gets sort of a cinematic quality, which I think can be fun for things where there's a lot of movement, like canvassing, going door to door and or going up and registering a bunch of voters, at a festival or something like that. Could be fun. And Snapchat. We used Snapchat a lot last year during the election. We haven't since then, but I'm hoping to revive that account pretty soon. If you don't know what that is, it's just you can send little photos or graphics or whatever you want to your followers, and they can view it for up to 10 seconds, I believe, and then it's gone. So it's just kind of a fun way to engage people and to give them something to smile about. Great. Next slide.
All right.
And that's all of the little tips that I had. Like I said, those aren't meant to be all encompassing or exclusive, but they are just some thoughts on easy things that you guys can do as volunteers to help amplify our digital presence and to tell the story of this organization. What we've kind of informally launched this, or we're trying to informally launch now, this team called the Digital Action Team. And if you guys are willing to just step up and say, hey, I'm happy to do digital stuff. I like to post on Facebook and Twitter. I enjoy doing this digital thing. And I am happy to do, to send you guys content whenever I can. I'd love to add you to the informal digital action team. And we'll, email you with different things that suggestions of things for you to post or share. And we'll be in touch about, suggested places that you can go to gather content, events that are coming up in your area that we might need someone to cover, or just be in constant touch with you to talk about how you can help out our digital program. So if anybody's interested in that, feel free to email me directly. There's my email on the screen if you're on the Hangout. For those of you on the phone, it's gfuller, GFULLER, @battlegroundtexas.com. If you didn't catch that, you can always ask Danny Lucio, our field director, for that. He's at dlucio@battlegroundtexas.com. And I think that's pretty much all I've got. I wanted to save some time for questions. If anyone has questions, ideas, brainstorm, concerns, if I talked too fast and you didn't catch any of that, feel free to type them on Google Hangout now, or press 1 on the phone if you've got any comments or concerns.
Ooh. No takers. Going once.
Anybody?
Going twice. Press 1 on the phone or type it into the Google Hangout. Well, that's it.
They're too busy doing their taxes.
Yeah, and watching the Spurs.
Yeah, that's more like it. Well, if you guys do have questions, if you think of something later, like I said, feel free to email me directly. I'm happy to respond as soon as I get around to it. And thank you guys so much for being amazing volunteers and for joining this webinar to learn a little bit more about how you can help us out and help yourselves out. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.
Adios.